I'm Donna from the Bartram Trail branch of the St. Johns County Public Library System, and I'm here today to make corn muffins from the Cross Creek Cookery book by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. I'm here with my friend Leslie.
Hey Donna.
And we hope to have a wonderful time.
Hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We are taking some recipes that we found in Cross Creek Cookery and Zora Neale Hurston on Florida Food, and maybe modernizing and throwing our own little touches. So we hope you enjoy. My recipe is for collard greens. So I picked up about 4 bunches of collard greens, and I'm going to wash these in my washing machine and then cook in the Instapot. That way it's much quicker than maybe a traditional method and able to get them on the table super quick. What I'm first gonna do is take this bunch. I'm gonna go ahead and just lop off this stem. And if you watched Sam's program about regrowing vegetables from stem, we might try that with this. What I'm finding works best is if I just take a couple of leaves, stack them together, and then I'm going to take my sharp knife and just go right along that stem and just cut that very thick part out, and it just leaves me with these gorgeous leaves. And I'm going to do that for all of my bunches.
So I'm going to follow my recipe by sifting my cornmeal, which is 1 cup. So there's my shortening. I used butter flavor shortening because that's what I like. Pour it in here, and I add my milk, and I mix it. You do not use a hand mixer when you're making cornbread. Cornbread needs to go in just a little bit lumpy, because that's how cornbread comes out the very best, is if you make it just a little bit lumpy. This is my favorite cornbread pan, and what I do is I take my paintbrush and I paint it with butter, because cornbread is many things, but it is not diet food. Cornbread is soul food, and it's comfort food. So you don't worry about a little bit of butter or a little bit of shortening when you're making cornbread. What I do is I take some butter and I just butter the whole top of my cornbread, and I let it cool a little bit.
Stay tuned for Donna's modern version of this Southern staple. I have finished taking out that stem, and now I'm going to put these in the washing machine just for about 5 minutes or so, just to kind of soak and maybe very gently wash them to get that dirt off of them. And while that's happening, I'm going to be chopping up my onion and some bacon, and as much as Donna loves butter, I love bacon. And then I also have a country ham, so I'm going to be chopping these up. How are you doing, Donna?
So first I showed you how our grandmas made cornbread. So now I'll show you how I make my cornbread the quick and easy way. I don't like to whisk, so I put my eggs in a little container, and then I shake them up until they're good and whisked. Instead of following the package directions, I use 1 can of creamed corn for 2 boxes of Jiffy Mix. Now, if you only want to use 1 box, then you have to use a half a can of creamed corn or a small can. And I'm not really organized enough to do that, so I just always use 2 boxes. Jiffy comes in 2 different kinds. This is the vegetarian, and I use it because I think it's a little bit healthier than the mix with the lard. And while cornbread is soul food and not diet food, I make little concessions to try to be healthier. Again, you mix your cornbread by hand because it's supposed to be a little bit lumpy. And I put it in my dish that's pre-buttered because it helps your dish, but it also helps the flavor. And I'll put this in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes, and in 20 minutes, you'll see the result.
I am chopping up just the last bit of collard greens. They came out nicely washed, did not feel any grit, and actually they were pretty clean when I had bought them, so they're beautiful. And I think I bought probably too much. I have quite a bit here. So using the Instapot, I am going to put about a tablespoon or so of olive oil. And I'm going to add the onions. Give those a couple of minutes to get nice and soft. And these recipes that we've taken from these cookbooks, there are also a ton of other recipes that are just fantastic. They sound so delicious. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my chopped bacon and the country ham. Give that a stir. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of red pepper. And a tablespoon of dark brown sugar. You know, I was asking some people about their recipes for collard greens, and everybody is very loyal to their recipe. And I even had one gentleman mention that he used pineapple. And people do sugar, salt, anything to kind of help with that bitterness. I am going to add in maybe just about a teaspoon or so of salt. And then I have 32 ounces of chicken broth here. I'm going to pressure cook these just a little bit to kind of really pull out that flavor so that it'll add some nice seasonings to the collard greens. I am now ready to put my greens into the Instapot pressure cooker and probably just do them for about 20 minutes. The collard greens have just come out of the Instapot. They are delicious. Those red pepper flakes do bring a little bit of heat. Very good. Thank you for joining us today.